Okay? That gives you any idea. But if you ever need to run through a brick wall, if you ever need to pierce the armor on a tank, if you ever need to bull wrestle an intercontinental ballistic missile, you need this guy on your side. Because let me tell you what, I don't care where it is, what it is, when President Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear that wall down, Saslaw went over there and tore the thing down. Folks, a leader for all times, my friend, and probably the best majority leader the Senate's ever had, the Hammer, Dick Saslaw.
Thank you, Dickie. This was one of the best ever to serve Dickie in the General Assembly. By the way, I had that name long before Tom DeLay. Okay, he stole it from me, like they steal everything from us. The other thing that sign down there, Save Jeff, we all made that up this morning and gave it to him because he's one of the best friends we got in that party. If you want to know where McDonnell's heart lies, and he's going to try to do everything he can to camouflage it, and if I were him, I would do the same thing. Ideologically, you only need to, remember one thing. I mean, he graduated from Pat Robertson's law schools at Regent University, and his views haven't changed one bit since then. And just a little while ago, as Mary Margaret Whipple pointed out, and thanks to a gentleman here, I don't know where he is, from the state party, McDonnell said, amongst other things, that he was going to expand the community college system. He was going to make it easier for people to get into schools. He was going to increase charter schools. Now, when you look at the way our finances are structured in Virginia, there's only one way he can do that, and that is to take money from the general fund, which means 35% of that is going to come out of our K through 12. And this is one of the major defining interests between us and them. We are huge supporters of public school system. So many that I serve with, not so much in the Senate, there are some there, but in the House, homeschool their kids. Public schools are not a priority to them. Public schools are not a priority to him. And, he can tell the press whatever he wants. He can try to reinvent himself, and I don't blame him for trying to do that. And by the way, I got to tell you something else. He came up to me, I was in Roanoke, and at a function at, in fact, Haywood Freeland, at that yearly party that he has. And he said to me, he says, I'm going to be resigning as Attorney General, which is customary, to run for governor, and would your caucus be able to support Bill Mims, who had been in the Senate with us? I didn't have the heart to tell that guy that we feel a hell of a lot better with Mims as Attorney General than we do with you. We've got redistricting coming up in 2011. I can't tell you how important it is to have a Democratic governor, and we've got 3 good candidates. People often come up to me and they say, who's the strongest one we got? Who can beat Bob McDonnell? I tell them, any of the 3. And I mean that, any of the 3. We do what we need to do. It ain't going to matter. I know we're all each supporting different people, but it won't matter. If we do the work we need to do, we're going to prevail in November. We are the only state in America that's got a one-term governor. Send that over there, it can't get out of the House. There's a slew of things that are like that. The redistricting commission went over there. I had a bill after, you all may have remembered, the situation out in Westfields, or Centerville, where that 20-year-old went into that police station and gunned down 2 police officers. I put in a bill that by the time it got to the House, it said you couldn't bring guns. You couldn't bring guns into not just into the police station, into the secure area of the police station. Not police officers, regular citizens. that bill never got out of the subcommittee on militia and police in the House of Delegates. A bill like that, just simply saying you couldn't bring guns. Where was the Attorney General's office on that? They didn't send anybody over there. They didn't send anybody over there. And this is what you're going to have if we don't maintain that governorship. And I've been there now through 10 or 11 governors, maybe 12 now. And I can tell you, every time, and particularly in the last 20 years, we've had George Allen and we've had Jim Gilmore. Those results last November told you what the public thought of Jim Gilmore's performance as governor. Every year, we need to take $950 million out of the general fund, for car tax relief. He's left us with his legacy that is costing public schools almost $400 million a year. That's the legacy of Jim Gilmore. And the people didn't forget that last November. Now, Ken Plum said that he feels that McDonnell may go around touting the 8 years of George Bush. All I can say is let him. Let him. You know, I'll be glad to run on that again, okay? As far as I'm concerned, that's a gift that just keeps on giving. So, we got our work to do. Nobody's going to hand us this on a silver platter, but you take a look at all the things that have happened under us. We saved the three-star, the AAA bond rating that we had. If it had been up to them, we'd be back at AA or single A. We took us from 48th out of 50 states in the way state governments fund public education down to 36th by what Mark Warner did. I used to go to bed at night and tell people, thank God for Alabama and Mississippi, okay, or we'd have been dead last. So, and their party and Bob McDonnell opposed that. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But I will tell you that every advance that this state has made has come when a Democrat has sat in that governor's mansion and when we have controlled the General Assembly. So when you leave here today, the gunmen here, it just begins. We're not going to do this unless everybody is 100% engaged. We've got candidates that can win at every level. At every level. We've recruited good people in the House. We've got great people running for 3 statewide offices. There's no reason we can't continue this. And I can tell you, a Democratic governor doesn't need a Republican Attorney General fighting him every step of the way. And that's what we had this time, and that's what we had when Mark Warner was governor. We need to end that. And the way you end that is with a sweep. I can tell you, I've been in a tie situation in the Senate when you had a Democratic lieutenant governor and a Republican lieutenant governor. I can tell you I've been minority leader, and I can tell you I've been majority leader. I don't have to tell you which is best. All right? I intend to stay that way, and it sure would help we had a Democratic lieutenant governor. Listen, thank you all very much for coming out here today. I don't know what's going on down there, but I can tell you, whatever they're selling isn't going to be purchased by anybody in Northern Virginia. Thank you, Dickie.